Hello, and welcome to the Finding the Unicorn in You podcast. I'm Dr. Jaime G. Raygoza, a life coach, psychologist, and your host. Join me on a journey to inspire and transform ordinary lives into something special. Here, we celebrate the unicorns, those who choose not to follow the ordinary conventional path, but rather chase after their dreams and choose the path less taken, making them truly unique. Together, we'll explore powerful life coaching techniques and hear from special guests who embody the spirit of unicorns in their own way. What are we waiting for? Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Finding the Unicorn in You. Today, I have the CEO and founder of the Daring Academy, an organization that helps gay men feel confident and sexy in their bodies and build confidence from the inside out. Without further ado, welcome Jarrod Bruce Lee.
Hey, great to be here, mate. Thank you for the great introduction.
Of course. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get in this line of work?
Oh, it's a big story. I'll shortcut it a little bit. So I was an accountant 10 years ago. Absolutely hated it. Did not want to do it. Trained for it, but I really realized that life was too short, that I didn't want to do it. And I was spending so much time wanting to get fitter, healthier. And I thought, you know what? What happens if I become a personal trainer? And I struggled a lot with my body confidence, my body, and did that. So that created that and I was successful, loved it. But then even more so in the last 3-4 years, I realized there was still this part of me, this emotional healing, the spiritual side, accepting my sexuality and really owning myself that wasn't fully quite there yet until it was unlocked. And I was like, wow, there's so much more I can do in my life than going further. And I really wanted to take this out into the world. And the Daring Academy was to help other gay men not just build incredible bodies, but really love themselves from the inside out, accept their sexuality, build confidence, shed those wounds. As gay men, we have so much stuff that's put onto us, but really help people heal the way that I have. And it's been an incredible ride, incredible journey.
That's amazing work that you do. And I know, especially just from being in the gay community and talking to a lot of my peers, there's a lot of like self-hatred, body dysmorphia, and a lot of different things that us as gay men go through, especially when it comes to our bodies. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you come through with some of the guys that you work with?
Yeah. So the whole range, but I feel the biggest one is this feeling, having been ashamed at some point, whether for sexuality or for body, or probably most often both, and then started to hold on to that and believe that's the truth of, okay, my sexuality is not okay, my body is not okay, I can't actually love myself. And the questions of what happens if it's not so much, there's so much workout plans, there's so diet, you can get it everywhere in the world, right? It's all over the place. But what I found is this identity of keeping ourselves safe because we're so used to protecting. It's scary to actually imagine what happens if I do make a change. Not believing it's possible, not believing they're worthy, or not believing they're worthy of change, not believing it's possible. Afraid of success, afraid of the judgment. There's so much stuff that goes on. And then there is the technical stuff of not knowing what you're doing. They tried before getting in shape, but they didn't succeed. And just, not believing it's a possibility.
Yeah, all of those are really common challenges that a lot of us go through. And what I'm really curious about is you went through your own journey, you said. So you not only did you teach this and you work with this, but you did this yourself. And a lot of people think that just doing it yourself is a big, humongous thing to do. But you went above and beyond and are teaching it. So what made you want to not share what you've learned and help others?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I just know that pain so deeply. I connect with that pain so closely where I know I spent 4 years, right, trying all these things and just, number one, not seeing results. And even when I did, still not loving myself. And I know that pain of that struggle, feeling unworthy, feeling not worth it, feeling like how bleak life was. And there were so many reasons before that, from my upbringing to different events, my bullies and being shamed. I had a bottle thrown at me for walking on the street, for my skin color, racism, And today I live such an incredible life. And I feel really extremely grateful for my confidence, my health, my relationship, my marriage. And life is not just, I don't want to just, in the beginning, gaining that confidence was just about, I just want to look good for me. I just wanted to improve my dating life. I hated the rejection. I hated all of that. But that gets boring. That gets really boring. And when I had so many conversations with other gay men sharing the hurt, I'm like, you know what? If there are people who want help, they want to make these changes, that's what fulfills me. That's what lights me up. It's just seeing someone who had similar struggles or even worse struggles to completely change. It's just, I feel like that's what life is about, really. We're not here to be just crush our own lives. It's really about helping, lifting others up.
I love that. And that's a unicorn quality right there, because not everybody wants to do that, or even does the courageous move to want to put themselves out there and say, you know what, this has worked for me. Let me help you and guide you through your own problems. And there's so many different ways that we hurt and we find pain that a lot of us don't realize that our method may work for many others.
Yes, that's it, exactly. I feel that it's quite healing too. What I find is every single moment, healing is a long lifelong journey, right? It's not you're healed and then everything's perfect. It's every single person I help, I learn too, and I'm healing my own heart more and more, and the more it just uplifts everything, everything. Myself, the people in my life, the people I help, and I wouldn't change a thing.
I love that. And I know you do not only like single one-on-ones, but you also do group sessions. So would you like to talk a little bit about that and like the work that you do in that?
Yeah. So one-on-ones, we can go very extremely deep together and we bring up a lot of stuff that can come up. We do the programming, the nutrition, that's the boring stuff. But in the group, this is the power is when you have a community of gay men who know, who understand each other. A lot of these guys, myself included in the past, is when you're doing this alone, you feel like you're the only person going through it. But when you can share in a group setting, hey, I sent a body pic to someone and then I got blocked. I got ghosted X, Y amount of dates. I've been fat shamed my whole life. That is powerful because that's healing. When you can actually share and be seen and heard and feel like it's okay. You don't need to hold on anymore. It's a very intimate setting. So everyone gets to know each other real well. And we do group workouts together. We go through nutritional challenges, what's going on mentally, what are the struggles with this eating habits, what are the struggles with the workouts, the fear of stepping inside a gym, feeling self-conscious, like guys are judging you, especially when you have these macho men right lifting big weights, right? All of that stuff. The community, this is the part I love most, and I know our guys love the most, is feeling seen, heard, and just everyone's so motivated to make changes. And when you fall, there's a group of gay men going, hey, buddy, let's lift you up. We got you. We can do this.
Yeah, I love that. And just like you said, one of the most common things that I see people when they're going through any issue is that I'm the only one going through this. Like I'm the only one that no one else can understand me because it's such a unique experience. But that's a very false statement that we have ingrained in ourselves and that we have to do it alone. There's so many other people that may be going through, may not be the exact same situation, but it's pretty similar where you can help each other out. So building a community where people understand you is super, super important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know I invest in communities myself and just having that's completely transformed my life. And I feel very grateful to be leading, not really even just facilitating, cultivating this community. Yeah, absolutely love it.
I love that. So I know you do things a little bit different than, let's say, if you go to a gym, let's say 24-hour fitness or whatever it is, and you just get a workout coach where that's all you're doing. So can you differentiate? Because you add a lot of life coaching in there. So what is the main difference where you would get going at a gym and just getting a personal trainer versus working with you?
Yes. Thank you for that question. So I actually get asked this a lot, right? So I used to be an in-person trainer only, just one-on-ones. And what I've actually found, people getting better results now than before. And the big difference is a lot of the times what I've noticed is not always the case, but when someone pay someone to say, I'm going to hire a one-on-one trainer, and they just want someone to count the reps or for them to do a workout together, there becomes over reliance where you say, I'm going to show up and I'm just going to do the workout, go through the motions, leave. But what is the most important about real transformation is what happens in the other 23 hours of the week, of the day, throughout the week, or the other days. And what I do with our guys is we do give the workouts. So we help them with the workouts. We actually get them to record themselves, the technical side. We'll dial in on the technique. That's all there. We push them on really educating so they learn. You actually get to learn exactly how fitness actually works. So you know how to do it yourself and how do you progress the weights, what exercise to choose, how to progress the reps, et cetera, et cetera. So, and really understand that. We go through the nutrition side, which is a big missing piece, right? So you can go hire a nutritionist, go do that. Is getting understanding nutrition, education behind that, understanding how macronutrients work, food quality, food choices. And then the most important part is that mindset, mental piece. What happens? What are those challenges that comes up? What are those beliefs? Maybe the person, they tried working out in the past, but they haven't seen results. They have this belief that it's not possible for me. My body type is different. It's not possible. And then for me to work through those, actually, let's shred all this. What is the stuff that's actually holding you back? Help you move through that. What are those challenges with your habits, the things during the week that's coming up for you? So it's a very holistic process where we're not looking at just one aspect. It's a whole lifestyle when it really comes down to it. The whole lifestyle, the whole mental game. Once you get that down, transforming it's easy, very easy. Within weeks, people see results, but you have to do it fully. You can't just focus on just one thing and that's it.
I love that. And it's really easy for one to think, I can do this by myself. It just seems pretty simple. Those are the simple steps here. But it's the accountability part, the community part, the guidance, and really working with somebody to get that goal accomplished. Because there's a reason you haven't accomplished it thus far. There's been some barriers that sometimes you need a coach to guide you through them.
Absolutely. And I'm going to put my hand up first, right? Because what I spent those first 4 years thinking, hey, I'm a smart guy. I can figure this out. I can go online. I hired a trainer, train me a few times, go do these boot camps and thinking, hey, this is going to do it. But it didn't. And I was really frustrated, but I was very stubborn. I can be quite stubborn as I started. I can do this until I just say, you know what, Jarrod, this is not working. I'm not happy. Let's just buy the bullet and do the thing.
I love that. And myself, I've gone into different coaching programs and I have a coach right now that helps me through some of the struggles that I go through. And I can just say, vouch that programs like these are super, super important and they do help you. I know people are skeptical and they're like, I don't know, I want to do it by myself. Or the biggest excuse I see, especially with people that I sign on with me, is I don't have the time to invest this because I'm so busy and doing everything that I can't imagine putting something else on my plate that's going to make me not move forward in my goals. But I'm like, this is the programs that give you structure and give you the guidance so that you don't waste your time on the things that are not working and get you to kickstart, move forward. And not only that, but like you said, mindset has a big impact on whether you are successful in something or not. If you are, for example, with me, I've struggled years and years telling myself that I was big boned and that maybe I wasn't going to be the same as somebody else who is naturally fit, but there's no natural fit. Everybody has their own different body makeup and whatnot, but it's the work and the mindset that you put into it that will allow you to be the person that you are and being happy with yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you touch on two things. How about I really want to touch on number one, that time thing. Because I used to use that, but I shred this apart because the whole reason why you hire help is it shortcuts the process. You can waste so much time. Our guys, they don't need to spend 4 years like I did trying to figure things out. And if time is an issue, this is because even more important is that you actually just take out all the fluff and just cut to the chase, get to the good stuff. Number one. And then what you shared about, I really want to make this point about this, the body and the body confidence here. There's a crucial distinction is part of our philosophy of the Daring Academy. And I full heart believe in this is you don't have to look like anybody. Nobody, there's no societal image, there's nothing. What you really need to decide on is how you want to feel and look for yourself. And the biggest part is just going, okay, this is what I want, and go after it for you. Don't do it for anybody else. Don't do it because it slammed you down. Don't do it for these other people. But once you get that body confidence comes from inside out, and that's tastes so much better than doing it the other way, which I've done in the past, which is just trying to please. That's a real crucial distinction.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I've heard this term on TikTok, the ex revenge body, where you are working out and going to the gym so that you can make your ex like think, wow, this is a person that I lost. I could have been with this person. But even what you're saying, that is the wrong mentality to get into, because you're once again doing it for someone else. You're
Mm.
not doing it for you. If you're doing it for you, it's going to be lasting. It's going to be more healthy, and you'll know when to stop. Because like you said, this is the image that I want to know, that I want to feel, and this is a person that I want to be, versus obsessing over trying to impress someone else. You're never really going to get there, because it's an external validation. You need that internal validation in order to feel fulfilled.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And whilst insane now, it can be a great driving force. It can create change, but it create that full change. And I know for my personal experience of helping many others, by changing just the outside, it's going to taste very unfulfilling. But when you can do both, this is what we do here. I shortcut both things. So you do both. It feels incredible. You actually get to love the process along the way.
Completely agree. So, if you were to give a tip to someone who maybe was starting their journey and they're thinking, maybe I'm not so happy with the way I look, maybe I want to be a better version of myself, what are some tips to give them to start the process?
I would say getting started, if anything at all, one of the biggest things I would say is to take action, no matter what action that is. It could be as small as going out for a quick walk. If you're not doing any exercise, you don't have to go jump straight to the gym, start a 5-day a week plan. That's too much. If you're not eating any vegetables in your diet, just one serving a day, that can make a big difference. If you're not drinking water, just one little step. Don't let overthinking stop you from taking the little actions, because this is how things build. And I see often people where I say, hey, I don't know what to do or exercise, I don't know what to eat. Therefore, I'm not going to do anything. But if you just take one little action, motivation builds. And this is a big thing, is oftentimes people still tell me, hey, I don't feel motivated. And what I found, and a lot of research done through this, is motivation doesn't happen before action, it happens after. And there's still times when I don't feel motivated to go to the gym, but I feel motivated after. So that's a big part. It's not to wait for motivation to start. And probably the easiest, if you want to condense things, if you want to just get that, even to just reach out to someone for support, get some form of accountability, whether it's a coach like you or myself or another person, or even a friend, someone, just to actually start that. That's another little action step to take. But any little action is going to be so much better than staying stuck inside your head and then debating whether you're going to do the thing or not.
I completely agree. And what are your thoughts on people who start the action and then they miss one day out of the week, and then they're like, you know what? I messed up my routine. I'm just going to give up. I obviously can't do
Yeah.
this every single day.
Yeah. That's such a great one. And this happens to every single person. It ties with the same mentality, right? So the reason why most people don't take action is because they're, number one, afraid of failure. What if I fail? What if I don't succeed? What if I don't go to where I want to go? I want to get everything perfect. And the same thing applies here. You don't need to be perfect. There will be days you're going to miss workouts. There will be days you're going to screw up, and that's okay. And if you want to really take away this whole all or nothing approach, if I either exercise and eat really healthy, or I don't move at all and eat really unhealthy, to go, actually, there's a balance. You can actually, sometimes you might swing a little bit on the other side, but then just go, okay, let's get back on the next day. Let's go. Let's go. That's number one. So perfectionism is not a thing. It doesn't exist. It's not perfect. Number two is dig into the question. Ask yourself, what actually happened? Why did you not show up? What stopped you? Or how did you stop yourself? Even better question. Was it work got busy? I didn't plan things. Was it just a life event happen? Just a family drama happen? Or is it I just didn't feel like it? Was it I was too tired? Was it I talked myself out of it? Because those are different things. If something dramatic happens and you don't go, okay. If you talk yourself out of it, that's something that needs working on, and everything can be worked on.
Completely agree. And just to add on to your point too, one thing that I learned that has been very powerful for me is that change over the years. Constant change happens whether we realize it or not, but we're not the same person we were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even yesterday. Why are we clinging on to the failures that we did in the past and applying them to now? So if you fail to do something today, it may not be the same exact motivation or reason that you failed in the past. So don't think that you're that same person when it didn't work in the past. You're a different person now. Use the tools that you've learned throughout your journey and keep moving forward. Don't cling on to that image of yourself that was before, because you're not there.
Absolutely love this, Jaime. And that's the beautiful part, right? Is we are always changing, and we get to recreate ourselves every single day. I'm a different person, even a month ago, 2 months ago, a year ago, and we get a choice. And that's so exciting to be able to say, I might have stuffed up yesterday. I get to make a different choice today.
Yes, definitely. And I did want to talk about, I know some of the things you teach is authenticity. So tapping into authenticity, tell us a little bit about that and like how someone starts that journey.
So I have this thing where I really believe so how you do anything is how you do everything. And I really see the more I grow in all these different aspects of life, I see everything tied together. What I mean by this is authenticity, let's say if you struggle with body image, right? What I found, usually it's this form of protection. It's a form of protecting a part of yourself from the past, and you're trying to find a way to protect it. And whichever way it is, authenticity is the ability to go into your fears, your traumas, your past selves, the things that hurt you, that you've identified for so long, and be able to share that. Because the truth is, when you are able to share, let's say if you struggle with your sexuality, right? I struggled with that many years. I didn't tell my father until I was 30. I told a lot of my family, friends. I only truly came out when I was 30. And I've got clients who only came out when they're 50, or even in their 60s. But when you hold on to something and you don't share it, it festers and it grows. And it makes things harder for you. But every little thing, if you can just tell a little bit more of the truth about yourself vulnerably, start with people close, people that you trust, people that you know has your back. Start with that. But the more you get comfortable with that and you share a little bit, a little piece, it grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And you start to share that on a bigger scale. If you're happy to tell a group of people right now, right? So even us talking right now, and this vulnerability, I can go more vulnerable but on a social platform, you grow in confidence because you've become more and more authentic and say, hey, this is who I am. These are my thoughts. These are my feelings. And releasing the shame. Some people may not like you. There will be people who don't like you, and that's okay. There will be people who will judge you, and that's okay. But the more authentic you are, and just embracing the truth that the more authentic you are, the right people will come along, they'll see you, they'll gel with you and say, hey, Hannah, you're great. You're awesome. I love you exactly the way you are. And from my personal experience, it's such a better, freer way of living, and life just gets so much better. As scary as it can be, of the idea that what if I shared my truth? Because that stopped me for a long time. What if I shared my truth and people saying, Jarrod, you're an asshole. Jarrod, you're gay. That's disgusting. Jarrod, you're vain. Whatever it is, right? That stopped me for a long time. But once you get to a place and it gets better and I'm still growing on this, you stop caring. You really stop caring. And you start to, all sorts of opportunities will happen. You attract better relationships. You're going to make more income. You're going to have a better career. Your social life will improve just by being authentic. And the world needs more authenticity, not polished, not perfect, but authenticity.
Yes. And two things to add on to what you said. One, no matter how hard you try, you're never going to please everyone.
Mm.
You're always going to have at least one critic out there that's not going to like the way you're doing things. And that's fine. Be yourself and just know that. So there's going to be people that like you and people that don't. And two, the more you are yourself, we attract the people in our lives that like what we're giving, our output, what we're putting out there. So if we're putting a fake version of ourselves, then we're attracting the people that like the fake version of us. So when they get to know us for who we really are, they're like, you're not the person I thought you were, but it's because you weren't being yourself. So if you be yourself, you will naturally attract the people that like you for you, and you will not have to fake or be a better version of yourself or anything, because you showed people who your true colors are. And those are the people that liked you for you.
Absolutely. So that energy is so different. And just sharing truthfully, where I spent a lot of time pretending, not just sexuality, but pretending to be a certain person, even on dates, right? There's a difference between impressing, wanting to impress versus actually just trying it completely, not being vulnerable, not being authentic. And I've seen this other people I've helped, is it doesn't go down well. But when you are able to say, hey, this is who I am. And by the way, what I've noticed is if you really want to live, the more authentic you are, the more polarity you tend to get. If everyone in your life, if everyone in the world likes you, there's probably something off. There's probably something off. And to really remember that. And I remember just from let's say with the work I do now, I put myself out there very publicly and very vulnerably. I share everything. There's nothing I really hold back now. But I remember before, I used to be that person when I was in my early 20s, for example. I would see, say, people online or share their stories, and I would be the person judging in the background or sit back and go, yeah, and make all these judgments. And I would watch the comments. I was never the guy who would troll, say hate comments, but that happened, right? And that would freak me out. Hey, if I put myself out there and I get those hateful comments, how would I take that? But you get to a point where you say, you know what? This is actually part of the journey. If you're not getting some of that, you're probably not doing something right. And just being okay with it. It's so much better being truthful, authentic, than to worry so much about a few haters, that people that you don't even know, who's living behind a screen, who's oftentimes doesn't even have a profile photo, talking stuff about you. And even if they're people in your life, it's so much better to weed them out than to fake it.
And I like that you say that, because sometimes the people closest to us are not always the healthiest either. So you have to really do that self audit and really see, are the people around me taking away my energy and my motivation, or are they amping me up and like supporting me and getting me through? Because whether it be family, friends, or peers, colleagues, they should be naturally happy for your successes. They shouldn't say, I'm happy for you, but X, Y, and Z. Or maybe you should have done this different. And there's a difference between giving you advice and constructive criticism versus just giving you opinions that put you down. So really listen to how you feel after an interaction with the person, and really ask yourself, is this something that can be fixed, or is it something just to let go and find a new community?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I find really the hardest part is the haters actually find is actually easier because you can just straight away say, okay, this guy, girl, whoever it is, just not have my good intentions at heart at all. The hardest part, if you bring it back to say body confidence, let's say you're trying to get in shape, is when you have family or friends who love you. They really love you. They want the best for you. And then they ask you questions. I had this when I said, why are you working out so hard? Or why are you trying to do this thing? When you have people with good intentions, they're concerned for you, but they just don't get what you're trying to do. That's really the hardest thing. And it's setting those boundaries when you say the energy side of things, the people that either take away your energy, give you the energy. When it comes to people that you care for and love, to set those boundaries is the most challenging part. And I'm still learning to get better and better with this every single day, but it's life-changing when you can really and I'm very protective about how I look after my energy today. And I'm really aware of it now versus say 5, 10 years ago, whatever would just come in. When you learn to cultivate it, life is beautiful.
Yeah. And we can't be wasting our time or energy on things and people that are not going to keep us moving forward. So really pay attention to where you put your energy, like you said, because that's valuable. That's your time. There's nothing more valuable than time. because you're never going to get it back. So make sure you're really intentful and doing things that bring you purpose and joy every single way of the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that, this is not going to be an easy process. It's not something that you will do today and then tomorrow you'll fix. It is a journey, and you are going to have to put in day out work for days, months, weeks. So how does one stay motivated to continue doing it and not lose faith that and trust the process?
Yeah, there's two approaches to this one. One, I really dig into the why and the pain. Ultimately, we heard of this, hammer runners. We all get to make a choice every single day, and life will have its challenges. It will be hard in some shape or form. We can either choose the challenges, choose the discomforts, or it's going to come and get you. If we could simply with health, what is with the body? What is the core reason? What core reasons why you want to make a change for this? Is it you feel so self-conscious? This is talking to the guy that I serve. Is you feeling self-conscious every day? You can't see yourself in the mirror. You feel uncomfortable. You're stuck inside your head. Is it your health is getting deteriorated, your energy is getting lower, you're facing real health challenges, you're type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure, you're getting these health risks. Is that you have a partner or you have kids that rely on you? What is your big core reason to fight, to really fight for yourself? That's number one. So really understanding that pain. And then along with that, really understanding where do you want to go? So what is that vision? Do you want to be healthier, fitter, stronger, love yourself more? But then when it comes down to it, every single day, I do crazy stuff. I wake up at 4 a.m. I go to do these ice baths in the morning. I'm not saying anyone to do this, but I do it because I know how much it affects my mental health. I'm someone who struggled with anxiety for a long time with my upbringing. I didn't feel safe in my body. And if I don't keep up these practices, if I don't look after myself, I know how terrible I can feel. And hands down, I would rather feel better than the other way, even if it's uncomfortable for that little moment. And that's a question, right? For example, even this morning, I woke up, didn't want to do the thing, but I go through it because I'm not motivated at all to jump into this thing. For someone who might be going to the gym, but I know what it does. So just keeping that in mind and then 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, take the action. As soon as you allow yourself to debate it in your head, things will fall apart. You're going to talk yourself out. This is really crucial, is not letting motivation, not relying, the whole idea of I need to feel motivated to do this thing will trip you up. If I allowed motivation to be the determining factor, I probably would not go to the gym. I probably would not eat healthy. I would rather eat pizza and watch Netflix every day. That's probably what I would naturally want to do. But then over time, it becomes easier and easier over time. But you just have to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go do the thing, not rely on motivation.
Yeah. And you have to remind yourself that what you're feeling now is not going to feel after you do the thing. So right now, your brain's trying to be in flight or fight mode, and it wants to make you feel safe because the anxiety is building up, the fears of, it may not be good enough. This may not actually happen. So your brain's trying to tell you, let's just stay back and not do the thing because it's giving you a lot of anxiety right now. So it's better for you just to stay home and avoid that anxiety. However, how you're feeling now is not going to how you're going to feel after, because then if you choose not to do the thing, you're going to start feeling regret. You're going to start feeling more anxiety and more maybe depressive thoughts because you're like, wow, I didn't do that. I am a failure. And your self-fulfilling bias, you're reinstating those bad thoughts. So if you just choose to do it, whether, like you said, whether it be 5 minutes, 5 seconds, a small thing, just walk around the block, at least you did something, and you will feel so much better afterwards because you chose to take a step towards you and not prove yourself right, in a sense.
And what you said, our bodies are designed, all the fears, anxieties are designed at some point is to keep us safe. And the familiar is always going to feel safer and will feel better than the unfamiliar. And it's just crossing that, learning to become okay with getting uncomfortable. And what you said about, even if you do that little thing, one big thing tip here is after you do it, make sure you celebrate yourself. So I see they say you go to the gym, you might say, hey, it was a great workout, you beat yourself up and you do as well as they want. If you go, I want you, if you go for a walk, go and say, yes, I've done well here, because that builds success. That builds that momentum.
Yes, 100%. And I try to do every day. I started, like I said, micro steps. I started walking my dog twice a day. I do a total of like about 5 miles a day. And every single time I'm like, yes, I did this again. And I journal about it. And I basically talk to myself and saying, I'm really proud of you for doing this. You know, you chose the harder option, which is actually doing the thing. Because like
Yeah.
you said, we're all afraid of the unknown of, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? Of taking risks. But living without taking risks is just surviving.
Mm.
And do you want to choose just to survive and be complacent with the life you have? Or do you want to take a risk and start living and thriving in the potential of what can be and what could be if you choose to take that risk?
And that big one I ask myself all the time is, what would Jarrod at 60, 70, 80, 90, what would Jarrod at his deathbed? What is that decision? That informs my decision today. And if it gets uncomfortable and scary, that's the thing that helps me cross the line every single time. So I go, okay, when I look back at this moment, would I be happy that I stayed in the accounting job? Would I be happy that I just kept myself to my sexuality to myself? No. Would I be happy that I didn't help others? No. So those decisions inform the now.
Yes. And one advice before we go into our last question that I heard from another podcast guest was, ask yourself how long it may take for you to do the thing that you want to do. Let's say lose weight. If it's going to take you maybe 1 or 2 years to get to your ideal weight and body, or whatever your goal may be, think about, if it's going to take if it's going to take 2 years for me to get there. And let's say I'm 31 right now. So by 33, I can be 33 and be in the body that I want, or I can be 33 and stay exactly how I am and not feel so good.
Mm.
So why not do the change and be at that age? Because time is going to still keep going. Nothing's going to stop. You're still going to reach that age regardless. So why not do the thing that you want to do to be able to accomplish it and be happy once you reach that age, and you can do that big celebration versus doing nothing and feeling that regret at that time.
Yeah. Pretty man's goal, the present. What happens? What does 33-year want to do right now? What would he do now?
Exactly. So I was just going with what you said about 70-year-old Jarrod. so, so for my last question, which is the whole premise of the podcast, people can be unicorns in various different ways in their life. However, it takes a lot of challenge. It takes a lot of change and risk in order for you to get to that unicorn level. In your eyes, and in this field and this topic that we're talking about, what does one have to do to start the process to become that and tap into that inner unicorn?
There's a few parts. Number one, first and foremost, find your people. Find the people that's going to really find the people. Let's say you have this idea of this unicorn that you want to reach to. Find people who have done what you want, and find everything. If you spend time with them, hire them as a mentor, as a coach, you find whatever way, just surround yourself with more people like that's going to shape you into your journey, your direction. That's number one. So your surrounding is so crucial. Secondly, every single hurt, trauma, fear you have right now, it might feel damn scary. The things you do not want to share, the things you do not want to tell the world, that is probably going to be the thing that's going to turn you into the unicorn. And the thirdly is set your GPS system. You have that vision, see it every single day. I do this every day. I'm still creating dreams right now. But every morning, every night, see the dream. Where are you heading in life? Where are you heading? See it, taste it, feel it, hear it. And as uncomfortable as it is, this is what creates change. And every single year, I've almost become a different person. I feel this shedding is by seeing every single time. And in the moment, let's say your goal is to get in better shape. First in the morning, last thing before bedtime. What is this version of you? How does he feel? What does he look like? How does he act? How does he walk? See it. And it's going to be really uncomfortable. It's going to be a part of your brain that's going to say, no, buddy, that's not going to happen. You're delusional. That happened to me too. But everything that's created in life, including us as human beings, most potent is, it starts from here. And it first feels delusional until it's not, until it becomes easy and natural.
What great pieces of advice. That was amazing. And I think that 3-parter is super, super important. I really love number 2, which you said, the thing that you're afraid to share is the thing that most likely is going to start that transformation. It really hit hard because I think a lot of us are afraid of certain things, part of ourselves that we don't want to share because it may be weak or we feel that it's weak, but strength comes in vulnerability and sharing those things and putting it out in the universe, because once you put it out there, it becomes real. And now that you name the issue, you can start fixing it.
Yeah. That vulnerability, right? Even if I were to I'm really hoping the listeners hearing me right now, let's say you see either of us or you see someone who's succeeding in what you want to do, just realize that we all have vulnerabilities we're still working through right now. So for example, putting myself out there more, growing the Daring Academy to the level where I wanted to, there's vulnerabilities and fears there. Can I get there? Can I succeed on this? Can I create this impact that I want? And it grows. And it's just know that the vulnerabilities, whatever fears, I just hope whoever's listening right now, if you're listening, is I still have fears, I still have vulnerabilities that I'm shedding every single day. And it's okay to say, hey, I've got these. And the more you share it, I promise you, life gets better and better.
And thank you for sharing that. And we all have something that we're working on. No matter how perfect you think somebody is, they're still working on it. And self-growth and personal development is something that is a consistent journey. It's not something that you can stop. And if you come to life with an open mind, you're always going to learn something new that might make you better. Thank you so much, Jarrod, for this wonderful conversation. It's been such a pleasure. I can probably ask you a million more questions, but we are running out of time. So for listeners that want to get in contact with you, join the Daring Academy, or just ask you some questions, how can they do so?
Yeah, the best way, find me on Instagram, Jarrod Bruce Lee, Jarrod Bruce Lee. Send me a message, send me a DM. My DMs are always open. Send me a question. Let me know what resonated today. Anything at all. Even if you want me to look into your workout plan, your nutrition plan, or share something that's going on vulnerably with you that you're afraid to share with anyone else, my space it's always safe. It's confidential. Share it. I love to hear and support you.
Perfect. And for listeners, if you want to read more about Jarrod, he will be showing up on the Unicorn Wall of Fame on my website at raygoza-consulting.com. You'll be able to read the blog, and all the links that he just mentioned will be on there as well as the show notes. And quick reminder, episodes come out every Friday at 7 a.m. And don't forget to leave us a 5-star review if you like this type of content. Jarrod, thank you so much once again. And it's been such a pleasure.
Thank you, Jaime. Pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And everyone, we'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to the Finding the Unicorn in You podcast. I truly appreciate you listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and gained valuable insights. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review on your favorite platform. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep growing. Until next time, this is Dr. Jaime G. Raygoza signing off.